Well, since the killing of George Floyd, outrage has spread across the world with protest rallies, marches. Social media has been filled with photographs and videos of artists making George Floyd's death with their paintings, projections, murals and photography. Many of the artists have used their creativity to paint the current struggle against anti-black racism. We can speak to Otha Davis now, the third, a Los Angeles artist known as Vakseen. His newest painting is a celebration of George Floyd's life, and he joins us now. We've got your latest painting, Vakseen. Thanks for joining us. I know it's early in the morning there for you. Just talk us through why you drew this and what you wanted to get across in terms of the way you interpreted George Floyd's life now in death.
Well, you know, the moment this happened, it felt all too familiar. It's a disgusting feeling, and you know, I think bigger than that is being unheard and having these situations kind of looked over and washed over. So immediately I knew I wanted to paint something iconic to where when you saw this portrait, you would never forget not just this moment, you know, in the horrific aspect and that tone, but to bring a whole new light, to give his life and legacy a vibrant energy, and just to celebrate it, and to, you know, bigger than anything, highlight these injustices that continue to happen over and over and over, time and time again, with no sort of justice handed down.
And when we look at this picture, which we're seeing now, Vakseen, you've painted him obviously in life, but as a very smiling figure, but surrounded by flowers, by nature, by colour. What are you saying there by the design, the creation of that picture?
It just symbolizes life. Unfortunately, he was taken away far too soon. I mean, you know, dying in your 40s is unfortunately a consistent thing amongst blacks, and that's just way too young. So I wanted to celebrate not just his life in a vibrant way, but bring youthful energy to this portrait as well, because he should be alive. He should be alive to this day.
Do you get the sense? Do you get the sense that actually George Floyd's death is going to bring about some sort of change? I'm old enough to remember covering the riots, the Rodney King riots, and not much has really changed since then, has it?
Nothing has changed at all. Same day, different situation. I have maybe a little bit more hope with this instance, just because look what's happening. You know, it happened at a time where we were already down on our knees, so to speak. Everybody's been quarantined. You have the coronavirus just running rampant. And, you know, I think it impacts people on a different level. People had an opportunity to kind of digest it, and everyone's at home doing nothing. So, you know, you're getting hit left and right with this raw footage of a man having his life taken from him. I think we're already seeing that change occur. You know, you see the protests going around worldwide. You see Black Lives Matter painted in Washington, D.C. You have a lot of things that are definitely instilling hope, but there's so much more change that needs to occur. This is just the beginning. This is barely the appetizer. There's just so much more that needs to be done to invoke change, and a lot of it is systemic and embedded. So there's just a lot of work that needs to be done. I hope that this sparks this major mass awakening, and we can just get to a level of equality, because we're all people.
How worried are you about the politicization of this? I mean, President Trump makes the point, and it is an accurate point, that where much of the violence has taken place and the demonstrations, they are held by Democrats, and the Democratic record in terms of policing is certainly no better than Republicans. Vakseen, on that question, I'm sorry, you've just frozen. So we've lost.
Can you hear me?
Oh no, hang. Vakseen, are you back? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just saying that, you know, everybody is going to use what's going on for their cause, and at the end of the day, everything that's happening in the world to me boils down to good versus evil. That's really the only conversation that we need to be having, instead of trying to pigeonhole it into this box or that box and make it fit your narrative. It's about what you want to stand up for, right versus wrong. We're all equal. We should all have these same rights, and that's just right versus wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Vakseen, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on BBC News.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching BBC News.